Viewers, for the first time, you will be privy to a secret that has been suppressed for the last 5 decades, 50 years. But the NDA government is now asking questions of the Congress party. Documents that I have in my hand, accessed by Times now, suggest that a body led by the Gandhi family might have infringed upon alleged public land belonging to the most visible symbol of the dynasty, the Nehru Memorial, in the heart of Lutyens, Delhi. Anyone who has been to Delhi and to the vicinity of the Prime Minister's residence would have also encountered the Teen Murti Memorial. The Teen Murti Memorial, right off the Teen Murti Memorial, looking onto it actually, is a museum that is dedicated to India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, in my hand is an eviction notice sent to the Sonia Gandhi-led Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund. It's a separate body located within the premises of the Nehru Memorial Museum Library. It has nothing to do with the library. It is located on the same land as the library, but to the side. This notice sent by the Centre from Nirvan Bhavan, New Delhi, dated 11 September 2018, talks of an audacious land grab by the Congress and calls on the Sonia Gandhi-led Nehru Memorial Fund to vacate this unauthorized occupation of a portion of the said public property belonging to the Jawaharlal Nehru Museum, Memorial and Library. Here are the hard facts. As always, upfront, viewers. Times now accesses this centre's eviction notice to Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund. It's an organization which is currently led by Rahul Gandhi's mother, the former Congress President Sonia Gandhi. The centre's notice calls on Sonia-led body to vacate premise in the Nehru Memorial. Eviction notice cites unauthorized occupation of a portion of public property. Here it is, very clearly mentioned, and if the video journalist can cut to this, I can show it to you. Here, to Dr. Balakrishnan, Administrative Secretary, Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, Teen Murti Estate, New Delhi. Sir, this letter pertains to the portion of public property, namely Teen Murti Estate, New Delhi, being unauthorizedly used by you. The facts relating to this public property are narrated here under. And what does it say? It says that one of the important issues raised by the Executive Committee was with regard to an unauthorized occupation of a portion of the said public property by you, namely Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund. The NMML, which is the library and museum, is found to have been struggling to accommodate more space to achieve its objects, as in dire need for space in the Teen Murti Estate. The said fact and the decision taken by the Executive Council meeting of the NMML was communicated by the said society to the government via letter dated 14 June 2018. The said society has also requested the central government via communication dated 23rd August 2018 that a portion of the Teen Murti Estate occupied by the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund be vacated. This is what this document says. The document claims the Gandhis-led Nehru Fund never sought permission for occupation from the centre. Here, let me just turn the page and we can focus on this part. Now, it is found that upon formation of the NMML, which is the Nehru Memorial Library and Museum, the said society requested via communication dated 22/8/1967. So we are talking about 5 decades ago, to the Superintendent Engineer, Delhi Central Circle 2, given to JNMM for their use. It clearly appears that though the property was owned and continues to be owned by the central government, the society never sought any sanctioned permission from the central government for writing such a letter, changing the occupation of the portion referred above from CPWD, which is the Central Public Works Department, to the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund. Neither the Superintendent Engineer, Delhi Central Circle 2, nor the office of the CPWD ever sought sanction, permission, consent of the central government to vacate the aforesaid portion occupied by it and allowed the same to be occupied by the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, which I told you right now is headed by Sonia Gandhi and has been a fund associated with the Gandhi Parivar. Moreover, designated Public Works Department also never sought permission from the centre, viewers, handing over its own buildings to a fund that is operated by the Gandhis and the Congress Party thereby. Now, these are very, very damaging findings. The fund, Sonia Gandhi-led fund, has protested, rebutted all these claims. We will come to that a little later, but I want to go across to Aditi first, who's also accessed these documents. Aditi, this is a very big disclosure. The Gandhis, especially Rahul Gandhi and the Congress Party, have been accusing the Prime Minister of being a chokidar and a chor. Today that chokidar has caught out the alleged chori of one particular body that is presided over by the Gandhi Parivar.
Well, Rahul, it seems like the government is literally fighting to get a public-owned land into their own kitty. Now, the letter that you had been talking about is this one, which has been issued by the Urban Development Ministry. This was sent on the 11th of September to Dr. Balakrishnan, who is the Administrative Secretary of the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund. What is also very interesting is because the fund has been going out and saying that they are a part of the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. They have been given the due permission to hold 2 buildings in the premises of the NMML, but very interestingly, the government has said that nothing of this sort exists, because the government goes on and says that the NMML is found to have been struggling to accommodate more space to achieve its objects, and in this they need dire space in the Teen Murti estate. They also go ahead and say that the said society has also requested the central government, which is that the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library has now approached the central government to get their own land back, and they have said that this was a letter that was sent to the government of India on the 23rd of August this year, that a portion of the Teen Murti estate occupied by the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund be vacated. But what is also more shocking is the amount of money clearly which is in the hands of this particular fund, because they have not paid anything, and in the last bit the government has also said that you, which is the Memorial Fund, is liable to pay damage charges for illegal occupation of the said premises starting from the 28th of August 1967. So we can just imagine the amount of money that the Memorial Fund owes to the government of India and the amount of money of the honest taxpayer that actually went down the drain over the past 5 decades, Rahul.
Yes, Gandhi family subsidized by taxpayers. Had those buildings been let out to anyone else, they would have had to pay rent. But here, the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, according to the centre, unauthorized, in an unauthorized manner, gave land, buildings, the usage of those buildings that should have been left with the CPWD for their usage, handed them over to the Gandhi family to run this fund, the Nehru Memorial Fund, for which, of course, they would have had to pay market rates to occupy those buildings, but they haven't. Not a rupee so far that we know of has been paid to the public exchequer. Now, if you think about it, 51 years of rent at variable rates, viewers, in a Latian zone property in one of the most prestigious addresses, that would run into crores and crores of rupees. Now, one would have thought an honorable proposal that seeks to reclaim public land would have been instantaneously acceptable to the Congress, if nothing else, then at least in public interest. But the Sonia-led Nehru Fund has hit back in protest. What does it say? The Sonia-led panel believes that the property is not a public premise under the Act. Can you believe it? Sonia-led panel says that the institution is fully entitled to use the property as it has functioned in the public interest. The right to occupy the property is irrevocable, as even the Nehru Museum doesn't have the power to evict it. Due process followed to seek the right to occupy the premises within the Teen Murti estate. The letter dated August 18, 1967, from the chairman of Nehru Memorial permitted Sonia-led panel to occupy these two buildings. So they are saying, because the Nehru Memorial has given us this occupancy, it's all okay. But the government is pointing out that the Nehru Memorial should have first consulted the center. Asked them if they could sublet property to the Gandhi Parivar to set up this fund. Prima facie, at least on the evidence of what the government is saying, there seems to be no such authorization. Hence, the government says that this is unauthorized occupation of a portion of the Nehru Memorial Museum. Stunning, very stunning. Now, Aditi, I know you've been speaking to some individuals and you have also been able to access this letter that has been written by the Nehru Memorial Fund back to the center. Can you take us through it?
Well, yes, the 11th of September is when the government of India had sent out the eviction notice to the Memorial Fund, and on the 20th of September is when they have responded back, and it's a very curt reply, if nothing more, Rahul, because they say that they talk about that the premises under which they are operating is of the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. They are also negotiating on the east side and the west side of the Teen Murti estate. They're talking about that when this particular property was taken out from the Prime Minister's pool and it became a part of the government's kitty, at that point in time, the only permissions that were given were to bungalow number 19 on the Teen Murti mark and certain other bungalows, but they're talking about 6 odd bungalows in the same premises. But their argument is that the premises in the east of Teen Murti house and which are within the boundary wall of the Teen Murti house will remain the property of the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. Now, if we go on further in this particular reply, which is a 5-page reply, Rahul, they also say that the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library duly permitted the Memorial Fund to use and occupy not one but 2 buildings in the premises, which is the east of the Teen Murti estate, namely the old Comptroller's office and the CPWD go down. This is their justification, and what is even more surprising is, Rahul, they are arguing on the fact that the kind of work that the memorial and the library does is exactly the kind of work that this fund is also doing. Very interesting to note here, they say, moreover, I hereby, which is the administrative secretary of the Memorial Fund, says that I hereby state that the property used by the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund for running its office and for undertaking various activities to perpetuate the legacy of Shri Jawaharlal Nehru is duly authorized. So this is their justification, that only because they are taking the legacy of the former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru forward, that's the only reason why they have the right and the authority to continue to illegally occupy 2 buildings in the Teen Murti estate.
Well, remember, all of this is, of course, alleged by the centre. The Congress party has come out and said this is vendetta. And they've also said in this letter that they use their own funds that were given to them by the central government. Now, mark this. In 1984, once again under a Congress government, in 1993, and in 2010, as well as in 2014, when they were Congress or UPA governments, they had been given bursaries from the government, funds from the government to set up not just the Nehru Planetarium, but scholarships and several other projects on this particular land. So therefore, they should move out. All of this, of course, was public money. Sometimes coming from the HRD ministry, sometimes coming from other ministries of the government. And now when they're asked to evict, they say nothing doing. Nothing doing, we're not going to evict. I want to open this out because we can get bogged down in a lot of details. I want to get some initial reactions, which we will get on this story as the evening progresses, because this is a big story, viewers. And it suggests that their sense of entitlement perhaps is so great that they forgot or are perhaps blind to due process and procedure. I'm reading tweets as I'm talking, and some people are referring to this as Herald 2.0. This is a big story. And it comes on a day when Rahul Gandhi has been mounting a sustained campaign accusing the Prime Minister of Chori, of saying that the Chokidar is a chore. Well, the same Chokidar today has unearthed what the centre at least believes, and these documents seem to suggest a land grab, which is also Chori really technically. Let's open this out. Nalin Kohli, advocate, Supreme Court and national spokesperson, the Bharatiya Janata Party with us, Shadat Poonawala, lawyer, Ashutosh Mishra, senior journalist, Nishant Verma, political analyst, Abdul Razak Khan, leader of the JDS. Let me ask you, Mr. Nishant Verma, and I'm a very blunt asker of questions. I'm not going to beat around the bush. And I'm going to ask you, sir, is it a stunning embarrassment today for the Congress party that on a day when Rahul Gandhi gets up and calls the Prime Minister Chor Chokidar,
okay,
he and his family are being asked questions, and this is beyond Herald, I'm just saying, are being asked questions about illegally occupying land, unauthorizedly occupying land in the heart of Delhi and not paying rent for decades altogether?
Ex-Prime Minister Charan Singh did not find it illegal. Ex-Prime Minister Morarji Desai did not find it illegal. Ex-Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee did not find it illegal. I have named all non-Congress Prime Ministers. I fail to understand that when Dr. Radhakrishnan, our ex-president, inaugurated something and said something good about propagating the good aspects of our history, Jawaharlal Nehru is no less as history for us, then what is wrong as compared to Kailash Joshi, an ex-veteran BJP Chief Minister of Janata Party in Madhya Pradesh 1977-78 only, occupying his official residence, which was not supposed to be official and entitled, until June 2018, and then it takes the Supreme Court to tell him to vacate.
No, I'll tell
Similarly,
you. I'll tell you one second. Nishant Verma, you talked about
Similarly,
other, one second. Please, let's take it point by point.
Bharti.
Let's take it. Fine, you can talk about all of this. I'm not going to stop you, but let's take it point by point because it's very important. You're suggesting vendetta. One government, one Prime Minister who has a vendetta. That's what you seem to be suggesting. Now, let me tell you how this has come out. This has come out because this particular Prime Minister and his government want to expand the Nehru Memorial Library and Museum to also celebrate the contributions of other Prime Ministers, some of whom don't have memorials such as this dedicated to them.
Okay.
And it is in the process of finding space in the existing complex to build new buildings, a new wing to honor the contributions of other greats that you have just mentioned, including P.V. Narasimha Rao, Dr. Manmohan Singh, Mr. Vajpayee, several others, that this alleged unauthorized occupation has been unearthed. Is it wrong, sir, to use a government building which is used today uniquely to promote the legacy of Nehru? Is it wrong to allow for other buildings to come up around it to celebrate the contributions of other Prime Ministers? Is that a crime? Is that vendetta? Let me ask you, is that vendetta?
I need to make two
No, on this particular point.
Yes,
since
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to
since I've answered you to the point.
I am on vendetta. It is vendetta, and I'll say
it is vendetta to honor other Prime Ministers apart from Nehru is vendetta. Indira Gandhi, honoring Indira Gandhi, honoring Rajiv Gandhi,
it is vendetta,
honoring Lal Bahadur Shastri,
it is vendetta, it is vendetta,
honoring Mr. Desai, honoring Mr. Vajpayee, honoring Chandrasekhar, honoring VP Singh, honoring all these people is vendetta?
I'll answer once you're done.
What are you saying?
It is vendetta in order to try and erase some kind of a historical
thing. Bring parity, sir. Bring parity. Okay, let me ask the BJP. It's vendetta, sir. You are erasing, you are eroding. You are erasing and eroding.
Allow me 30 seconds. While driving to your studios, I saw a beautifully built BJP office, the new one. If this Prime Minister wanted to do something, who is in a habit of having everything on his hands, I know him since his CM days, He knew everything in 2014. Opening up now or trying to corner someone, and we do not even know whether it's a fact or not, it's only an allegation, is vendetta. Yes, he should go ahead and make memorials for everyone.
So how can that be
starting
vendetta?
from
If he's
Samrat
making a
Ashok,
beginning, you see,
starting from Samrat
if he had
Ashok,
started this
but
on
then
day
trying to
one,
get
you would
that
have said,
small
if he had started this on day one, you would have said, look at his priority.
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't care about the poor. He's only bothered about honoring prime ministers. Now, 1 minute, let me bring it.
If he would have started day one,
I
he
am
would have
not going
started
to
delivering his manifesto promises.
Okay, fair enough. Let me respond. Let me get a response from Nalin Kohli. Mr. Nalin Kohli, vendetta driving this. Forget about the fact that the Congress might be in illegal occupation, owing the exchequer thousands of crores. We don't know. But it's vendetta. Answer this.
Mr. Rahul Shivshankar, whenever there is any occupation of something that's public land or a public building, there has to be a due permission to do so. If the Nehru Memorial Fund is believing itself not to be an illegal occupation, they need to merely produce a letter stating that they had the permission from any government in the past and what were the terms and conditions of them occupying a space of a public building. That's all. They don't need to explain that we are doing this activity, we have built this, we have built that. It's not required, because this is not a question on the activities they do or how they spend their money. This is a question of how are they occupying a building and whether they have the permission. If they don't, they have to vacate. So there is no argument in front of it. The very fact that all the arguments are being put forth, that is the politics of entitlement, that it doesn't matter. We treat the country like a private limited company. That if we have, and Nehruji was a great prime minister, he's the first prime minister of India. He was part of the freedom movement, as there were hundreds of others. But it's not only Nehru who's a great leader, there are other great leaders too. It's not only Nehruji who was part of the freedom struggle, there were hundreds, thousands and millions who participated faceless. So we have to acknowledge the contribution of all and give them their due place. But that cannot be an excuse to say, because Nehruji was great, because Nehruji was the first prime minister, because we are from the family, we can hold on to any space we like in any public building. That's not contemplated. So the easiest thing for the fund to do is put out a letter that shows they have permission. If they don't, gracefully exit. There is no need to politicize this, because this is not a political battle. This is merely the Nehru Memorial Library looking for more space.
Mr. Nalin
we are now 40 years ahead after it was built.
You are 4.5 years late.
And now
I fail to understand. How does it take 4.5 years to reach from RCR to Tinmurti?
I don't know.
You take 4.5 years.
He has a habit of interrupting others.
See, this is the.
I'm sorry,
but it is not anti-question. Because when I say you could have actually changed also mark. You did not change. It's got nothing to do with Anglicism.
You continue liking, right?
Yeah, that's what Anglicism.
Look, 1 minute. Let me come in here. Let's cut through the chase. Reactions coming in on this story.
Let me answer that question.
1 minute, 1 second. I'll come out to you. Reactions coming in on this story. Listen to some of these reactions coming in. Let's play them up. These are big reactions coming in on this story. I think we have with us Mr. Majid Memon's reaction, Sambit Patra's reaction, Priyanka Chaturvedi's reaction, as also Sambit Patra's reaction. Let's play them out. Let's listen to these reactions. Big story. Big reactions.
Categorically goes on to show that they have zero respect and zero tolerance for India's first elected Prime Minister, first truly loved leader. Vindictive attitude and an attitude of petty-mindedness is the hallmark of this government.
The sense of entitlement that it is only a space for the Gandhi family and the other prime ministers could not be accommodated there. Remember, it was quite categorically stated that the main building in fact would not be touched.
Wherever Nehru's name comes, BJP gets very sensitive, and they want to wipe off the name of Nehru from wherever it appears. Quite vindictive and very cheap.
Most of the schemes in India since independence have been in the name of a single family. If this be the sense of feeling of the Gandhi family, that India is Indira and Indira is India, the Gandhi family's attitude towards India should change.
Look at this. Priyanka Chaturvedi says they have zero respect, zero tolerance for India's first elected PM, first truly loved leader. As if Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Patel, Tilak were not loved. Were not loved. Were not loved. I mean, I don't know who is talking about diminishing others. There were hundreds and hundreds.
Allowing anybody else to speak
about chopping Rajghat.
What chopping, sir? No one is chopping anything. No one is chopping anything, sir.
He's just being loud without making any sense. Can I make one small point? Just one small point.
No, 1 second. This is not 1 second. I want to bring this back to the moot point. This is not about chopping, enhancing, reducing. This is about, this is about due process not being followed, rules being bent to accommodate because perhaps there exists a sense of entitlement. जो सरकार का है वो हमारा है. Maybe that's also what is led today to Rahul Gandhi answering questions on National Herald.
Rahul, if I may just add one line, just to this, see, what is the moot question? The moot question is, one second, sir, now please let me make one small point.
I'll come to you, sir, don't worry. Let's go one by one.
Just one small point. This is when you see parivarik interest above public interest. What is the moot heart of this debate? The moot heart of this debate is you're calling the Prime Minister a chore in the Rafale deal, but here's a case of 50 years of land chori because you say that the definition of public interest is that it is my parivar's interest and whatever is in my parivar's interest is public interest. Now all I'm saying is compute the value of the money that has been lost to the exchequer. If the Gandhi family is willing to pay that, let them keep this property or else. ये दिल्ली है, दिल्ली में हर जगह कब्जा होते रहता है, ये सरकारी प्रॉपर्टी पे कब्जा किसी परिवार का नहीं हो सकता, ये हमारे देश की जनता का प्रॉपर्टी है.
Okay, Mr. Razak, that's the point. Just pay up and you can hold on to this property if you think, but since it is our property, it's the public's property, common decency would suggest that you should vacate it, or if you don't want to vacate it, move court.
Yes.
Move court.
They shall, they may. If they are truthful, they will. Why not?
If they are truthful. Well, sir, at this moment in time, both these answers, the answer that has been given doesn't specify if they took permission. It actually emphasizes that they cut a deal with the MNML.
If the urban ministry,
they have acknowledged here. My dear man,
is from the accused.
It is only the 20th. It's not only. It's only been, sir, 4 days.
The reply is from the accused.
It has been
the
4 days.
It has
been, sir, 4 days precisely. It has been 4 days. It might happen. There might be an eviction.
Propaganda by the ministry.
It is only been 4 days. Don't, sir, please have some sense of balance and fairness here. A notice has been received. It was returned. No, 1 minute.
Sir, the sense of balance should be with the government.
20th, the note has been written on the 20th. It might have reached the government yesterday or day before yesterday. On the weekend, who knows? On Monday. Should they be dropping everything they are doing to respond to Mr. Balakrishnan of the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund that is run by Sonia Gandhi? Well, maybe they will.
For a reply?
They may. They may walk in there. They may walk in there with bailiffs and throw people out. Who knows? But then you will all come out and say that this is, you see, muscle flexing. This is gundagiri. Isn't it? That's what you're going to say. Will it not?
What we are seeing here is political scores being trying to be settled in the garb of a property dispute. Every time there is a new fight, the first thing it does is to destroy the culture and civilization of existing person.
This is the
and what we are
property.
saying is just like Taliban destroyed Bamia Buddha, Modi is trying to destroy Nehru's legacy. Nehru's is not going to happen.
You compared Modi with Taliban?
It's not going to.
Is this compared
It is not going to. It's exactly.
Sir, what is going wrong? I think you are losing sense
what is
of
happening here is that it has been in charge.
What is the kind of language that's being used?
I don't understand. The lawyers are sitting here.
I don't understand.
They have been sitting there for 50 years. It's there. Even by
some people stand up and say Chori. Some people call
it's there.
Point of view, but not so ludicrous. Very
and
unfortunate.
library are like
Very
headed body.
unfortunate. I mean,
And
what
by
is it?
trying to
Are we going to now
dismember
start saying that
them,
your
whose
argument
fund
is like a
is
Dawood
trying
Ibrahim?
to,
What are we doing?
No, what do you mean head and
Can't we
body?
have
The
a
fund and the
straightforward
memorial
argument
library
on
are not,
the-
sir. No,
some
I'm sorry.
facts? Wait, what is this Bamiyan Buddha?
Answer-
has material on BC Roy.
I mean, this is the
The fund
kind of
is not
language
paying
you
out of
say
its
senior
pocket.
journalist.
It's taxpayer
The man
money.
doesn't
The
even know
fund
his
gets
language.
bursaries.
How can you
gets-
use a word senior
gets-
journalist for a man who doesn't know even the language he's using?
Well, sir,
but this is settling of
1 minute.
political
I'm going to
debate.
take a
I mean,
short
this is
break
not
here.
even the language of
I'm going
somebody
to take
on
a short break.
Of
Okay, 1 second. I'm taking a short break on this. And I'm coming right back. We're going to look at this story. There are more details here which I'm going to bring out. More reactions coming up. This is getting bigger by the moment. Stay with us.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा था, मैं देश का प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनना चाहता हूं, मैं देश का चौकीदार बनना चाहता हूं। और आज देश के दिल में नई आवाज उठ रही है, गली गली में शोर है, हिंदुस्तान का चौकीदार चोर है।
We are absolutely convinced that the Prime Minister of India is corrupt. This question is now clearly settled into the mind of the Indian people. That देश का चौकीदार चोर है। कहा था देश का चौकीदार बनेंगे और चौकीदार ने 30,000 करोड़ रुपए अनिल अंबानी जी के जेब में डाले। जैसे मैं युवाओं, जैसे मैं आपके साथ आंख मिला रहा हूं, वैसे नरेंद्र मोदी जी आंख नहीं मिला पाए। क्यों? नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने देश का पैसा चोरी किया है और अनिल अंबानी को दिया है।
Well, you heard Rahul Gandhi, the Congress president, talking about the Prime Minister being a chore. Today we have a situation where Times Now has accessed certain documents. A document, the first document, which has been, or which talks about the centre writing to the administrative secretary of the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund on the Teen Murti Estate, New Delhi, and claims that the Sonia-led body is in unauthorized occupation of a portion of the said public property and owes a lot of money in damages for this illegal occupation, and is therefore hoping that the Congress party will come back and evict itself from this land grab, alleged land grab. Let's be very clear about that. And also pay damages to the exchequer for not paying rent, for using in an unauthorized way certain buildings that belong to the central government without paying rent. That is the sum and substance of the eviction notice served upon the Nehru Memorial Fund by the centre. Now, the Nehru Memorial Fund has written in its defence, refuting in unequivocal terms the charge of unauthorized use or unauthorized occupation of the present office premises by the Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fund, that is, of course, managed by Sonia Gandhi. And it goes into a long explanation. Most of it is here, but the key context is that they are very clearly saying that they didn't need to take permission of the centre to sublet any of these buildings, even though that's what the rule expressly says, because they are actually maintaining or pumping in money to uphold the legacy at the Nehru Memorial Library of the first Prime Minister of this country. Now, many people in our studio, and we spoke to them in the panel discussion, said that this should be ignored, that the Gandhis are entitled simply because this government is on a vendetta spree. Well, I want to open this out. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, MP of the Rajya Sabha, now joins us. Dr. Swamy, this is a very big story that we have broken. We've got all the documents. It seems to suggest that the Gandhi family owes a lot of damages, quote unquote, to the exchequer, to the public. What do you make of this, sir?
Well, it's a pattern. It's not an exception. What is National Herald to 5,000 crores worth of property being cornered by a trick? And in that, of course, they are now, having been arrested, they have taken bail, and they're given 50,000 rupees as bond, and different people as their surety. For instance, Rahul Gandhi has given his sister as a surety, and in case he runs away, then she would be arrested in his place. So this is a person that now the stamp of having committed fraud, and there are 4 charges against him on that. Conspiracy, besides that breach of trust, cheating, and criminal misappropriation of property. Now he has the temerity to call the Prime Minister, who has no charges against him, as a chore. Now here you have come out with a timely expose, because they are making so much noise that no other Prime Minister should be given a place in the Teen Murti estate. The reason is that they have grabbed most of it for their purpose. They did it also with the Indira Gandhi Arts Center on the crossing of Rajendra Prasad Road and Janpath. Now, of course, it has been taken over, and Mr. Ram Bahadur Rai has been appointed as chairman, so he's cleaning it up. Then you come to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, that Talkota land was given actually for creating a party office, and they have now converted it into Priyanka's private property. In Himachal, the same thing. You go to Coorg, you go to Karnataka, so many places they have got coffee estates. So, I mean, what you have discovered is a part of the iceberg which is under the water.
Well, so you're comparing this to a Herald 2.0. That's what you're saying. This is a Herald 2.0.
That's right. Same criminal breach of trust and criminal misappropriation of property.
Well, if they don't comply with this notice, Dr. Swami, will you take this upon yourself? Will you say, okay, I'll move the courts and I'll forcibly evict them?
Oh, absolutely. I've already, in the case of National Herald, the Urban Development Ministry is going to take over the Herald House very soon. They have given them a notice for 30 days. Those 30 days have expired, and I'm expecting the Urban Development Ministry would now carry out the takeover.
Well, many people are saying that for 4.5 years this government was silent, and this is all timed now to the election, this vendetta, etc., etc. How do you respond to that?
Well, for 4.5 years, the Prime Minister was being sabotaged from within. It's only now we are cleaning up the act. High-level officials, members in the CBI, and 1 or 2 ministers, I think they have put brakes on our proceeding in this matter. But now the Prime Minister has understood, and now the matter is getting, so there's no such thing as a timing for corruption. Whether it is before in the first year or the final year, we have got to do it. It's a promise we made.
Okay, well, someone could also say that, of course, the entire Rafale deal cacophony, and thank you, Dr. Swami, thank you for speaking to me this evening, that the entire Rafale deal has been raked up by Rahul Gandhi as we near the elections, and just to create a perception. Now, that can also be said. And in fact, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Razak, let's invert this a little bit. Is Rahul Gandhi raising Rafale 6 months before the elections only to create a perception? Because so far, we haven't had much proof.
Rahul, from the day this deal has happened, we have been talking about the scam. First of all,
really,
I have always been saying that while the no confidence motion happened here,
in your drawing
it's a domestic affair of our country. Before even anybody could
why don't you move
ask,
the courts? Dr. Swami, move the courts.
Let me just complete, Rahul, please. Before even anybody could ask for it, the French government comes out with a statement even before the no confidence motion could end. For the first time, the Air Force Chief comes out and justifies what the government has done is correct.
So are you saying the Air Force Chief is sold out?
Gandhi.
No, are you saying that the Air Force Chief is sold out? No, are you raising fingers at the integrity of a serving uniformed officer? Are you suggesting he's sold out?
Why has he to interfere in the government's affairs?
Well, you ask him
Why
a question.
Has he to interfere
No,
in
I'm
the
asking you.
Political affairs?
I'm asking you, sir. Remember one thing, and let's not forget the facts
Rahul,
here. The
from when
Rafale
did
was
the Air Force and
chosen.
Army chief
The
interfere
Rafale
in
was
political
chosen on the
affairs?
recommendations of not just this air chief, but also previous ones under the UPA. Are they all thieves?
Okay.
Are they all chores?
Okay, but he cannot come and
What do you mean,
justify the
okay?
political
You
party
can't sit on this
and the
channel
political
and malign
party's
people
chief.
and say, okay,
He
as if it's
cannot
some
come out
casual
and
conversation
justify.
you're having between you and
How
myself.
can the Air Force chief come out and
Shame on you,
justify the
sir.
government?
The people who lay down their
Rahul,
lives
a
to fight for
political
this
action
country,
cannot-
you have zero contempt for them.
Political action, a political
You have zero
action
respect for them,
cannot
you
be
only have
justified
contempt for them.
by
This is
Army
shocking.
Chief or Air Force chief.
Nalin Kohli wants to come in on this point.
Liquidating the government.
Let's get another
They cannot
perspective.
come
Are
out
you,
and
Nalin Kohli,
speak
today
on the
stringing
mouthpiece
along
of
Army
BJP?
chiefs and Air Force chiefs and
Let
asking
it
the
be
service
the
chiefs
Army
to stand
chief.
up and give you
Let it be the
recommendations
Army chief
and
of the
endorsements? No, sir. 1 minute.
cannot speak
Let me
for
get in Mr.
political
Nalin
party.
Kohli on this.
I think, Mr. Shiv Shankar, we need to understand a couple of things. Pakistan seems to be very interested in seeing that this Rafale deal runs into trouble. And it seems almost supporting Mr. Rahul Gandhi in this quest to create question marks on what is supposed to be an extremely important fighter jet and is required by the Air Force. The Air Force wants it, the defense wants it, but Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Pakistan certainly don't want it. Second is, it's what today Mr. Sambit, what our party in our press conference has pointed out, that there seems to be links on the Rafale story running back to the first family with Mr. Vadra. Now, these are questions that require answers. It can't be a one-way street that Mr. Rahul Gandhi every morning, and look at Mr. Rahul Gandhi's love. He says, I'm distributing love. Desh ka chaukidar chor hai. Look at the kind of language that's being said. His people who support him on your show compare Mr. Modi with the Taliban.
Love does not mean being blind to chores.
So I mean, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is the newfound love. Is it love for power? It has nothing to do with that.
No, 1 second. Will you agree with me? No, will you agree with me?
Shut down if India does not buy
This is Mr. Rahul Gandhi's love
and he was
brigade.
going to go to the court.
Okay,
Now,
1
secondly,
second.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi is
That's all I can say.
No, 1 second. Your timing charge is okay. It must be permitted. But Rahul Gandhi's strategic attack on this government at a time which we're just about a few weeks away from a very important round of elections in the Hindi heartland and 6 months away from a general election, that must be condoned because he's being honest.
Because Mr.
What nonsense?
Because Mr.
What double
Modi
standards?
has failed on Vikas,
What duplicity?
failed
And
on
let me tell you,
and now
I'm
he has
only going
failed
to
on
digress for
खाऊंगा
30
ना खाने
seconds.
दूंगा।
1
खा
second.
जाऊंगा,
Nizam
हजम
bhai,
कर लूंगा, डकार भी नहीं लूंगा।
Nizam
That
bhai,
is the
who is the director of this show, is going to prompt certain graphics. More perception, less proof. The fact check on Rahul Gandhi. And we are going to just put this out for 30 seconds. I'm only going to allow ourselves this digression, viewers, and deviate from the subject for 30 seconds. Why? Because I want to establish that there is actually very little that Rahul Gandhi is using on Rafale to target the Prime Minister. Nizam bhai, if you're ready, I'm going to begin. Okay, let's go. Let's go to claim 1. What is claim 1? Modi government helped Anil Ambani. That's Rahul Gandhi's charge. You heard it just a few moments ago. Well, former French President Francois Hollande has been evasive after first claiming that the Indian government recommended Ambani. Dassault Aviation has issued a clarification saying they chose Reliance themselves and not the Indian government. That clarification has been issued to the general public worldwide. Third, the French government has issued a clarification saying the government had no role in choosing the offset partner. Why would the French want to be doing that? Do they want to become part of a corruption?
They are getting 3 times the price.
No, why? Why?
May I?
It's not a bribe, sir.
3 times
It's well
the
earned
price.
for them.
It's
Number 2, let's look
money,
at Rahul's
our
claim
money.
2. Let's look at Rahul claim 2. Modi has launched a surgical strike on armed forces. Air Chief said Rafale deal is good and will strengthen the force. That's the reality check. And this is not the only Air Chief who has said this. Even under the UPA regime, Rafale was chosen by the UPA government. While my dear man, while my dear man, there are people on this panel who summarily question the integrity of our men who are laying down their lives on the border and fighting for this country. Now, let's look at this. No, we are making it very professional. These are reality checks. Disprove them. Why don't you move the courts? Let's look at reality check. Let's look at reality check 3 and claim 3. Narendra Modi is a thief. There is no proof, no documentary evidence to suggest this, not a shred. There is no adverse finding by any agency, no CAG, no CVC, no PAC that is said any of this. National Auditor, CAG is yet to even go into the details of the deal. And Rahul Gandhi jumps up. And Rahul Gandhi jumps up. Sir, don't heckle me. Don't heckle me. We are talking about perceptions here. And the perception is that there is documented evidence here. Now it has to be established.
It is not evidence.
I am saying it has to be established. I have evidence in my hand that there is a letter that has gone out from the center to suggest that the laws have been made. So please, don't heckle me, sir. Please, let me establish the facts. Give me 30 seconds. The fact is, and no one can change these facts, the fact is that the center has written to the Nehru Memorial Fund. And let's pull out those graphics. What have they said? That the Nehru Memorial Fund that is run by Sonia Gandhi, the Congress president's mother, is in illegal occupation, and the exact word is unauthorized occupation of a portion of alleged public land. No one can deny that this letter has gone out. Why? Because there is a response, and there is a response from Sonia Gandhi's side, and she has said, yes, we did enter into an agreement with the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. The government says the NMML is not authorized to get into a sub-agreement with anyone. It is the center, the ministry concerned, that has to give permission to the NMML to sublet any of their properties. And you know, viewers, the saddest part, that the NMML has allegedly sublet these properties, at least on the evidence of what this letter from Sonia Gandhi claims, for 0 rupees. And this has been going on for 51 years. Not 1 rupee paid in the heart of Lutyens, Delhi, to use government properties to do what? To do what? To build the imagery around Jawaharlal Nehru. That's the story. That's the story. Okay, tell me, sir. Point one fact out which is wrong.
I will give you
tell
3
me.
pointers.
What?
Allow me.
Tell me. Yes.
I
tell
will
me.
give you 3 pointers. The wrong narrative starts with Mr. Subramaniam Swamy. When
No, talk about what I have said. No, forget it. Don't change the goalpost. You said wrong narrative going. I am telling you the narrative. I have made 3 suggestions. You respond. No, you respond to me.
So allow me.
You respond to me, sir.
You will understand.
Don't respond to politicians. Respond to an anchor who, with all responsibility, is stating the facts.
And I'll respond.
Is it not a fact, sir? Is it not a fact that a letter has gone out from the center asking the Nehru Memorial Fund run by Sonia Gandhi to vacate? Is it not a fact, sir? Number 2, that they are asking for damages that have accrued to the Union of India and the public exchequer for 51 years.
Unauthorized.
Is it not true that this letter says unauthorized permission? Because it would stand to reason that if there would be public property that needs to be given to a third party, you would have to take permission from the people who are entrusted with this property, which is the center. Is there one letter from the center, sir, that has gone out from Sonia Gandhi requesting the usage of this property? I want to ask you that question.
I will answer exactly that question.
You tell me.
It takes 4.5 years. Is the question. The timing has to be questioned, and allow me. It's not a matter to
Same
smile.
argument in National Herald case.
No, if I am answering.
Before Rahul
अरे सर, जब चोरी पकड़ी गई, जब चोरी alleged चोरी पकड़ी गई 1 या 2 महीने पहले,
अभी आपने कहा कि this is not established. अब आप establish कर
I'm
रहे हो.
saying alleged चोरी पकड़ी गई. जब unauthorized.
Because of National Herald, I wanted to start with Subramaniam Swamy, which you did not allow. That man sits on national channel, says that mother and son were arrested. When were they arrested? Surety means.
Sir, they've been granted bail. Is that a material fact or not?
That's what
sue
I
him.
No.
No, sue him.
No.
Why don't you sue him?
There's no need.
There is no need because you don't have a case. You don't have a case on Rafale, so you can't sue the government. Any other government would have been sued. Any other government would have been sued, any other opposition party in the face of this would have gone to court. I'm leaving it in this. I'm leaving it in this. The story gets bigger. More details from these documents. Sir, stop shouting. More details from these documents are going to be revealed by Navika Kumar on the News Hour at 9 p.m. in just about 10 minutes. Stay with us. Don't go away.